Hey Hoopers, it's Georgia from Circle Evolution. This is my second video in a series of 3 dealing with issues and problems that Hoopers face and what you guys have told me you see as being problems for you, and also what I've basically perceived in the community in general. My background is 10 years in healing work and many years in performance, doing stand-up comedy and acting, that sort of stuff. So hooping to me is a real cross-section of many of these interests. In my last video, I talked about the significance of making an emotional connection in order to become a more captivating and stimulating performer, because there's a lot of people who are really amazing at the skills. What makes someone stand out is an unconscious, visceral, emotional connection that the audience makes with you when they watch you perform. That's what really becomes that extra level of compelling. In this video, I'm going to talk about injury and other forms of threshold resistance. And what I mean by that is resistance that starts to come up when you are trying to move to the next level. So, as I talked about in the last video, the body-mind is a very unconscious part of our experience. And our nervous system, which is a core part of the body-mind and is connected to all our survival programming, is programmed up to the age of 7. So what we learned as children to stay bonded to the pack in order to survive is what we are very often continuing to act out in our lives. Now, when you choose to go into another field, a sort of unknown area, something that is not a well-trodden path, like hooping, like the arts, it's not a linear pathway. What this does is it stimulates some anxiety in the body-mind. And you're also, through the movements of the hoop, opening up the body-mind and releasing some of the dormant emotional energy that is locked and blocked in the body-mind. So there's a lot of energy held in the pelvis, and also the movement that happens with the spine unlocks it. So we've got 2 things going on. We've got emotional energy that you may not know how to process, because a lot of the primitive emotions are really intense, like anger and jealousy and fear. And you also have an aspect of you that is afraid of moving too far out of the norm, too far away from the pack, or it may get estranged from the pack and it won't know how to survive. Okay, I know it sounds crazy, but this is the deep unconscious programming in the body-mind. So as the body-mind starts to feel threatened by the experience of hooping, it may begin to manifest an injury in the body. Now, the body is really clever. It can actually withhold oxygen from certain muscles in the body to create pain there. So you'll be distracted by physical pain and you won't actually experience emotional pain or emotions that your mind sees as being painful, such as the ones that I was talking about before, the fear and the rage and all that sort of stuff. So very often when you're pushing your edge of comfort, the body-mind starts to contract and seize up around that and may actually block you from experiencing certain ranges of motion, because if you move in that way, it's going to unlock some core emotional energy that's blocked there. So for example, some people really favor off-body hooping isolations, which actually I'm terrible at. But they favor this kind of off-body hooping, and they don't do a lot of on-body hooping. And I believe that the on-body hooping is a lot more stimulating of this emotional energy. Now, there are certain off-body movements that also stimulate the body, and if you're really stretching your range of motion, you may be getting that stimulation. But if you're starting to manifest injury in a certain place in the body, instead of buying into the fact that you're injured, what you can do instead is start to work with the emotional energy that might be seated underneath the injury. And one of the ways to discover what that unconscious emotional energy actually is to simply say to yourself, how does it make me feel to have this injury? And if you actually, instead of sort of being in the story of the injury and I've got to have surgery, I've got to do this or that, I mean, I don't want to dismiss all injury, but the mind will want to keep you in the story rather than have you go into the core energy charge, which is actually the emotional energy. So ask yourself, how does it make me feel to have this injury? So you might feel disempowered, you might feel frustrated, you might feel really sad. There could be all kinds of emotions underneath that. And if you actually learn how to sit in that emotional energy, instead of resisting it, which is what the body-mind often wants you to do, remember it was created by a 7-year-old who didn't know how to handle very much, you actually start to short-circuit the body-mind by going into the feeling. So just sit there and actually let yourself feel the sadness about it, or feel the anger about it. A lot of us don't want to associate ourselves as being an angry person or being a jealous person, the emotions that are connected with the primitive mind. But we have these in our programming, and if you actually allow yourself to be authentic and to connect with it, you can short circuit the function of the body mind. And I use love and acceptance as a big way to soften the resistance to these emotions and just really feel it. And you will be amazed, and there are more techniques that I can give you about processing emotional energy, but you will be amazed at how, if you go into the emotional core first and feel it and love and accept it, so you can just say, okay, I love and accept the part of me that feels really depressed about this. I love and accept the part of me that feels really angry about this. You allow yourself to have that authentic connecting emotion with it, you will notice that the charge and the pain begins to dissipate, and you'll get back your freedom of movement. Other forms of threshold resistance can be like, I don't feel like hooping, I don't want to go and do that thing, just feeling kind of like moody about it. Getting all heady about it, getting like, oh, I'll never be good enough, all those sorts of things. These are all manifestations of the mind kicking up in conjunction with the body, resistance from you actually accessing deeper parts of yourself. And when you access those deeper parts of yourself and integrate them and bring them to the hoop, not only is your range of motion going to open up, the way you allow yourself to express, and the way you allow to express yourself in life going to amazingly open up. Your whole world is going to open up. You'll also have a really conscious practice to using the hoop to help with this process. So in my final video, I'm going to talk about a big one, which is prosperity. And I see that there's a lot of prosperity issues in the hoop community, and the hoop is also a great way to overcome this.